Hello, Blizzard fans! This is FalconPaladin coming to you with yet another daily Blizzard upload. This is a game between SoLiNViCTuS and DEWDED on Ruins of Seras. This is a PvZ submitted by a subscriber to FalconPaladin at gmail.com, and you too can submit replays at address, even if you're not a subscriber. And I will cast them as long as they pass Squeak's inspection, who is my screener. Alright, on the bottom right of Ruins of Seras, we have the red Zerg player. It is SoLiNViCTuS. And in the bottom left of Ruins of Seras, we have the blue Protoss player. It is DEWDED. And man, I don't know about you, but I have watched that Legacy of the Void cinematic like 8 or 9 times now, probably more by the time this actually posts, and I am super stoked for Legacy of the Void. I mean, Blizzard cinematics are always the best, but I feel like this one is just one of the best things they've ever done. If you haven't watched it, go ahead and click up here. I linked to it in the top right. Pause the game, go watch that, come back and watch it so we can discuss things. Alright, I'll give you about 10 seconds to click on that. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, welcome back. Wasn't that amazing? The whole concept of the Protoss landing on Aiur, which has been taken over by the Zerg, and then basically getting a proxy pylon on there and warping in an army to try to take back the planet is just like, wow. I mean, that's something that happened back, I think, in the vanilla StarCraft, where Tassadar crashed a carrier into Aiur to kill the Overmind that had been planted there, and it kind of destroyed everything, but at least this Overmind was stopped, but then Kerrigan took over, so it didn't really matter, and it's just kind of this tragic thing. And just to see that in cinematic form 10 years after the original cinematic, where Tassadar crashes into the planet, I think I'll link to that too. It's just amazing to see how far we've come with StarCraft, how important the story still is, and how much I still care about it. So, anyway, there's been some StarCraft being played here. This is a 4-player map. Ruins of Seras sent the Overlord Scout to sea here. Nope, no Protoss. And the Drone Scout here, no Protoss. Bummer, which means the last place he scouts is going to be where DEWDED is. DEWDED, meanwhile, not super interested in scouting. I think he might... Okay, he's actually sending this guy down to scout a little bit later than his Zerg friend, but depending on where he goes, it might actually find him before SoLiNViCTuS does. So a little bit of an unlucky play there from our red Zerg player. He's hanging out here, maybe looking for a proxy hatch, or maybe some proxy tech. That'd be pretty cool too, but we'll have to see if that might just be a mistake or not. Looks like we are going to go ahead and get Adepts. Absolutely, Adepts are a fantastic unit. And Legacy of the Void, they're tanky, they hit pretty hard, they do well against Lings, which is what we usually see from Protoss in the early, or from Zerg in the early game. These Lings are actually going to take out this probe. A couple more shots here. Boom. Ends up dead. Nice pickup. Didn't get much of a scout off. Saw there was a second base, but that was about it. Didn't see if there was a Roach Warren. Didn't see the timing on the lair. Didn't see how many gas the Zerg player had. So playing pretty blind now is DEWDED. But you know what the answer is? Always going to be Zealots and Adepts. Surprisingly, there is a Zealot here. I'm not entirely sure what the intent of that is. They do well against Lings if Lings stay and fight, but they don't usually do that against Zealots. They can hold the wall, but Adepts can do that a little bit better. I think they're more tanky than Zealots are. So Mothership Corps trying to chase these guys out. They say, is there a base coming up for my Protoss friend? And there's not, but, ooh, there's a probe coming down just now. We're going to see the timing on that. Try to block it. No, can't block it. Going to try to kill this probe in retaliation for not being able to block that base. Might it stay alive? Couple more shots. Moon, try to get it. No, the probe does stay alive with 5 hit points. One more hit, but the 2 Adepts were more than enough, 3 Adepts rather, for that single Zergling, and they got it. 2 little bloodstains on the ground, testament to how effective Adepts are against these Lings. That range is really, really nice. Mothership Corps on its own out here, kind of dangerous. I mean, I feel like a Queen might be able to get out and get some shots off, weaken it for the impending attack. SoLiNViCTuS has a Roach Warren, is getting 7 Roaches now. Really good timing because there's a small push coming out with some Adepts and some Zealots. I feel like Roaches do really, really well against Zealots and kind of a stalemate against Adepts. So we'll have to see. There we go. That Queen poking away at the Mothership Corps, chasing it away. But you know what? Here comes some other units. Here comes an Adept. 3 Adepts and 2 Zealots. So no Stalkers in the composition. Kind of interesting. Run, Queen! Run for your life. Gonna try to save its life. Here come the Roaches, though. Gonna try to deal with these Zealots. Bam. They snipe one down immediately. He evaporates. His soul goes back somewhere to be put into a Dragoon, I believe is the official lore there. But saving the Queen, the roaches came out at exactly the right time. Man, SoLiNViCTuS playing this well. That's exactly how you want to play Zerg. You want to have the units coming out as soon as they're needed, not anytime sooner, not anytime later. That was exactly correct. Getting a glial reconstitution, and I think that guy was on a bad rally point. Yes, indeed. That Zealot stepped onto the creep, said, what am I doing here all by my lonesome? There are like 10 roaches out here trying to kill me, and backed out immediately. So this base is up and looking pretty darn good. It's 28 to 26 harvesters. The Protoss player is up. SoLiNViCTuS is working on what right now? That glial reconstitution, just trying to catch up in the worker count, exactly what he should be doing. I like to see maybe some Hydras or some Lurkers. Lurkers do really tend to give Protoss players some issues. I always have a Robo facility coming up as well for SoLiNViCTuS. And is that +1? Yes, it is. +1 attack. Yes, so ground weapons level 1 for the Protoss army, which means we're going to be pretty heavy on the gateway and robo stuff. Really no Stargate in the mix right now for DEWDED, but that's a-okay. And what do we have here? Observer, obviously the Observer is going to come out. We have Spore Crawlers and Tunneling Claws. Are we going Burrow move here with the roaches? I think we are. We have Burrow being researched as well. So going for a Burrow move attack. I don't think I've seen one of these actually kill a Protoss player in a long time on my channel. It does some damage, but Zerg really have to follow it up with something good to actually win. So I'm not sure how this is going to work, but here comes some Stalkers and the rest of that army with some sentries from the previous attack. Is there a third base? There is not, which is a problem for SoLiNViCTuS. He needs another base immediately, but he has people at the front door. Guardian Shield comes up. The roaches have a pretty good concave, though. A couple queens here as well. Okay, one queen, rather. Ooh, sniping off the sentry. Very nice pickup. Sentries are big in this stage of the game. The force fields can really turn the tide for the Protoss army. So 2 sentries now, one of them pretty low on health. One of them getting there, getting pretty heavy. More and more reinforcements coming across the map. We don't actually have a proxy pylon, though. I'm not sure why DEWDED didn't bring a probe to throw down that proxy, but I guess he says it's not too long to walk, I guess. It's not going to slow me down too much. But here we go. More roaches. 12 roaches spawning now. Yeehaw. A lot of roaches going to be here at this front door in just a second, and here they come. Just when they're needed. Oop, trying to get a creep tumor out. Not going to happen. Creep tumor's getting hit left and right. That queen at the front door. Oh, she gets killed. The roaches chase after. No force fields. Do force a retreat, though. None of the roaches actually die, though, I don't think. Maybe they did. Let's take a look. Yep, one roach did end up dead. But that was about it. Observer setting up here exactly correctly. Oh, sees the Burrow move on the roaches. No, SoLiNViCTuS. It's going to try to get it. There's the pop-up right on top of everything. This is exactly where the roaches want to be. Sniping units left and right. Adepts dying. Zealots dying quickly as well. Can we get that sentry? Not quite. Reinforcing Stalkers come. Going to follow this army. SoLiNViCTuS is feeling very, very confident right now. Moving out across this map. Chasing the Protoss units. Trying to snipe down Stalkers that are very quick right now. 5 more roaches in production. Twilight Council being built as well for DEWDED. And there's the Burrow. So we're going to regenerate the health. Burrow right on in here. There's nothing that can see this for DEWDED right now. I don't think he has an observer around. He doesn't have... No, he doesn't have an observer at all. And here they come. We're going to pop up, kill a bunch of workers. I think is the plan. Yes. Going to try to snipe down some workers. At the same time, trying to kill some of these units. Probes are dying fairly quickly. About 3 have died now. Photon overcharge on all 3 of those pylons. Woo! And backing on up. Oh, just kidding. Backing on up. The roach is going up this ramp. They're taking some hits now because the observer is out. The second observer for DEWDED. Gonna try to kill some more stuff here. And yeah, taking down a couple Stalkers, a few workers as well. 5 probes have now died. More roaches coming up on a rally move. I think they ended up dead. All these probes are being forced to evacuate. 16 probes have died right now. This has actually been pretty darn effective right now. It's 30 to 30 total workers, though. 2 base to 2 base, and all these roaches are going to get cleaned up. The Stalkers are hitting fairly well with that +1 attack and +1 shield. And that's it. So basically, the Burrow Roach did do 16 probes worth of damage to DEWDED, but again, we're at 30 to 30. SoLiNViCTuS does have a bigger army, but he needs a 3rd base. He can't just stick on roaches forever and ever. I mean, I guess if DEWDED wants to stay on the gateway units, Mass Roach will work, but eventually we're going to have Disruptors, we're going to have Immortals, we're going to cause all sorts of problems for this Roach-heavy composition, and Ravagers are added in. Okay, so Ravagers can be pretty good throwing down that Corrosive Bile. I've actually seen it used effectively a little bit on my channel recently, believe it or not. But moving out across the map, we have Stalkers and Zealots and a Sentry, but no other Legacy of the Void unit. So DEWDED might be giving up on the Adept right now. That is something that Walnut has said on my channel. He said, you know what, Adepts are good early game, but they don't scale very well with upgrades. And so the longer the game goes on, the less useful they are. We're moving out. We're missing each other, though. I think, do we see each other at all? A split, though. Roach is trying to get a surround. Is that what that was? I think it was an accidental surround. Yeah. SoLiNViCTuS backing up, saying, oh, I don't know what happened there, but I'm pretty happy with it. More and more Zealots coming out. I don't think they're the answer to this Roach Ravager composition. Third base, though, coming up for DEWDED, rather. Taking that third base before the Zerg player. This does not bode well for the Zerg in the long run. I have to tell you that, but Protoss playing this pretty darn well, sitting outside. Again, no forward pylon, nothing at all to allow reinforcing units. That's something you do want to do, players, when you're playing StarCraft 2 as Protoss, is get that forward pylon up so you can reinforce immediately. Hydralisk Den popping up, and there's the Immortal and the Zealot charge coming up for DEWDED. So very, very smart. Small group of roaches trying to bait the army up this ramp. I don't think it's going to happen, though. There's the Time Warp. Boop. Nobody being really affected by it right now, just kind of slowing down the creep. I don't like the creeps flowing more slowly. I'm not sure how that works. All right, so both players just kind of sitting back, hanging out. No big deal. We do have the Hydralisk Den completed. No hydras in production as I say that. 6 do pop out. So 6 on the way. First SoLiNViCTuS really, really needs that third base. Like, take a sneaky third base. Do something to get that economy up and running because it's 44 to 29 harvesters. SoLiNViCTuS, why? Why are you just trying to max out your army on 2 bases? It's not going to work. You will, but it's just going to take a while. Lurker Den being morphed as well. Lurkers can really turn the tide here. We've seen Lurkers win games for Zerg, so maybe some good Lurker placements will be nice as well, but definitely an observer with the army. DEWDED knows to have detection because the Burrow Roach was already a thing, so that also works against Lurkers fairly well. But regardless, just kind of hanging out. We have the Hydralisks, the Lurker Den about halfway completed. Upgrades galore for the Protoss player, getting +3 attack now, getting armor +2, getting blink, getting more and more workers, getting more and more gateways, spending that money super effectively, down to 400 and 200 only. Chrono Boost being used on very important buildings. Where is that? Yep, Chrono Boost pretty much on the Nexus right now, as well as that blink. So pulling back once more, DEWDED just kind of hanging out. Not sure what the plan is there. Still in the forward pylon. That is an observer. Zealot checking things out. Is there a third base I don't know about? He says, I feel like Zerg should have a third base by now, but there's not. This is really weirding me out. SoLiNViCTuS needs more gas if he's going to go Lurker, though. Taking this gas would be a good choice. Getting more workers on the second base as well would be pretty fantastic. I guess we are starting to get oversaturated here in the main. There's the Lurker Den popping. Are we actually going to make any Lurkers? It does take a certain amount. It takes 100 gas per Lurker, so we can make 3 of them right now if we wanted to, but I think we're supply blocked as well, which is a problem. Oop, Hallucinating Phoenix gets taken down by the Hydralisks. They say, no scouting for you. You flew over the wrong patch of creep, buddy. Where is the Zealot? The Zealot's still looking at all the available bases saying, why on earth is there not a third base for the Zerg? And I'm with you, Zealot. I don't know why there isn't one either. Because for all intents and purposes, there absolutely should be. Overlord scouting things out. Does see the blink being researched on that Twilight Council. Says, okay, so blink stalkers going to be here. Lurkers can do pretty well against blink stalkers. Blink can't really blink in and take things out without receiving massive damage from the spines of these Lurkers. And it is 30 damage, 2 armored per spine. And that's exactly what Immortals are. That's exactly what Stalkers are. So, here we come. Roaches, Ravagers, Lurkers, Hydras. Great composition. Scouting, Zealot gets evaporated. Coming right on up, though. This is going to be a big, big battle. Good split on his units from DEWDED. And here we come. Immortal starts the battle. The Zealots charge in and pretty much immediately just die. The Lurkers here trying to clean stuff up. Is that probe going to live? Yeah, the probe actually lives. Gets through all of that. But here's a pretty good concave from the Zerg player. The Lurkers aren't really part of the battle, though. He needs to move these up as Time Warp pops in just to allow for a shorter retreat, though. Trying to go up this ramp. Ugh, I don't know about that. That might not be a great idea, trying to snipe down gateways and getting the upper hand here. The Hydras, though, are just fantastic. Move the Lurkers up. Move them up. That's what you have to do. You need them from the back side, but the Hydras are now in the front, taking the damage from the Stalkers. There it is. The Lurkers moving in from behind, and that's going to be it for this army. That is a huge pickup. All the Immortals are taking so much damage. Barrier being automatically popped up on those guys. The Hydras and the Roaches are pretty much taken down, and now here we have it. The Zerg army is victorious, standing at the top of this ramp. There is a single Immortal. DEWDED calling the GG. SoLiNViCTuS calling the GG, and is that it? It looks like DEWDED is still fighting, though, still trying to fight for his life. The Zealots taking down these Hydras a little bit better than I expected. The upgrades really serving them well. That +3 attack. The Immortal's still alive as well, but are we actually going to kill it with the lurkers. It's going to be a good question. Ravager Boosh takes down as well Immortal with 7 kills, pretty much fighting on his own that entire time. And are we going to know? The Immortal on the top is taking out every single lurker because they can't see him. They don't have vision, and now they do. The roaches come up to avenge their fallen lurker brethren. But reinforcing stalkers are here too with the blink. The roach is getting right on top of the stalkers to negate that blink ability. More and more zealots warping in right on top, immediately dying, but distracting the roaches for just a little bit. Another stalker dies to this roach battle. More and more zealots being warped in. More charge lots. The zealots blink back to a safe place. The roach is not quite sure what to attack. And the roaches say, you know what, we're going to go for this worker line as long as you're going to leave us alone. Zealots charging right on in though. The roaches do burrow, try to stay alive, but there's detection because of that photon cannon. Get out of there. And 2 observers. The roaches are slowly getting whittled down. They're trying to kill what they can, trying to kill that pylon. Oh, yes, they do get the photon cannon, but in the end, all of the roaches do end up dead. All right, so DEWDED might have called a little bit of a premature GG there. He is still alive. He has lost 22 probes, but he's up 54 to 29 because the Zerg player refuses to expand. Dear Zerg player, come on, man. I need you to expand. You can't go on 2 base for the rest of your life. Another burrow move approach. Maybe to try to kill all of these workers. Might be able to do it, but a 4th base is now up for DEWDED, playing this very, very well indeed. Stalkers and Zealots, no Legacy of the Void units to be seen whatsoever, but DEWDED did have those adepts earlier on and says, okay, where's that 3rd base? Every Zerg I've ever played as a 3rd base by this point in the game, in the 15-minute mark, of course. Burrowed roaches, though, taking out so much production. 38 probes have died, but guess what? DEWDED still has more workers than the Zerg player. 41 to 29 total. Just continuing to make Roach Hydra, continuing to have all these drones sit here doing nothing instead of taking another base. Are they going to get this? They do get the Nexus. They probably should burrow and run away at this point, and they do. So a little bit smarter than I expected from these burrow roaches, considering what we've seen for the previous parts of the game. But the roaches do burrow and get the heck on out of there. DEWDED has a replacement base, though. You'll notice. Still has 3 bases to the 2 bases of the Zerg. The Zerg might think I've taken out the production on that 3rd base for Protoss. All he has left are these 2 bases. But no! Surprise! There is a 3rd base here. And it is up and running. It is saturated, oversaturated at this point, and a replacement Nexus is coming up here. DEWDED is not deterred. He's going to continue to macro. And where did those drones go? Are they down here? Yep, now oversaturating this space. Why on earth? I don't get it, SoLiNViCTuS. Why are you so opposed to taking a 3rd base? Alright, lurkers are burrowed at the top. There are 2 lurkers and a bunch of roaches, which have 0 upgrades whatsoever. And meanwhile, DEWDED does have that +3/+3 on the shields now. Been upgrading like crazy. Disruptor in production as well. We'll see a Disruptor shot or 2, I have to imagine. It's hard to see a PvZ that doesn't involve those. Observer coming up and says, alright, so we have roaches. We have 3 lurkers. More and more roaches coming in, but that's about it. And DEWDED says, you know what, I can handle this. Blinking up, but getting one of the lurkers. Taking a lot of damage, though. The roaches come down. Good force fields. Catching a few of the roaches here, trapping them and killing them. But coming up that ramp is not a good idea right now. DEWDED, I would stay back just a little bit. I think pretty much if you soft contain the Zerg player, don't let him expand, you're going to win this game. That's absolutely a guarantee at this point. The lurkers try to burrow down in range of the army. Can't quite get it, though. And there's the Disruptor. There it is. With the Purification Nova doing 145 splash damage. And I think, honestly, we just use it now. There it is. Poops right on up. Oosh. Takes out a roach and weakens a lurker. Small group of burrow roaches try to get past here, but no way, DEWDED says. You are not going to make this happen. They're all being killed. Why burrow? They stand up and try to fight. They might take a stalker with them, but nope. They don't get a single Protoss unit there. Every single one of those burrow roaches die. Another Disruptor coming up. Nothing in the production tab. There we go. Disruptor, 5 roaches. Just sticking on this roach play is SoLiNViCTuS. Here comes a Disruptor shot, and boof, misses everything. You got to get a little bit closer before you shoot that, DEWDED. I think you got it figured out, though. The roaches decide we're just going to go for it, and then they back out. We're going to kill all of you. Nope. Run away. The lurkers, again, want to kill stuff, but with no upgrades at all, they're not quite as scary as they could be. SoLiNViCTuS taking a 3rd base, getting an evolution chamber is a good idea. Here we come. Roaches again, just dancing back, taking losses, not really inflicting much on the Protoss army. DEWDED is playing this very, very well. Disruption shot, again, a little bit too far away. Doesn't really get much of anything at all. The roaches do dodge it pretty well, but it was pretty easy to do. They saw it coming. They reacted a little bit late, and that was it. Both players in a Mexican standoff. Just kind of hanging out here on the creep where they feel comfortable. But look at there are 2 Disruptors, only 2. The roaches are just trying to kind of win this Win this a piece at a time, right? Get in there and kill a stalker, back out. Get in there, kill a stalker, back out. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. Disruptor shots. Ooh, Purification Nova taking out a bunch of roaches there. 8 kills on that one. 1 kill here. Another shot. Ooh, getting a lurker as well as a bunch of roaches. There's only a single lurker here now. SoLiNViCTuS in a lot of trouble. Production shows he's now taking a third base here at the 19-minute mark. But it's too late. His income is just so low. The Protoss player is on 4 bases, setting up disruptor shots again to miss. Just go for it, dude. Kill him. End it now. You can do this. Ooh, disruptor shot. Almost takes down that lurker. It is down to 24 hit points. Blinks up dead. The lurkers are now gone. All that is left are a few roaches, and DEWDED says it's time to go for it. Comes right on up. Time warp just for good measure on all these units that are going to die. Slowlings come in. That's never going to work against this level of upgraded stalker. The slowlings in time warp are so slow. And that is it. Overlords trying to retreat, trying to get the heck out of there. This base completely under fire. Spore Crawler trying to get that. Nope, does not end up managing to get the Mothership Core. Maybe it will, though. There's the GG from SoLiNViCTuS. And no, the Mothership Core lives with 9 hit points. SoLiNViCTuS has not quite left the game yet. Maybe feeling like it's a premature GG like DEWDED threw out earlier in the game, but I don't think so. It's 108 to 9 supply right now. Is SoLiNViCTuS gonna make the Protoss player kill every single base that he has? Is that what's going on here? DEWDED, just get up there. There aren't any lurkers. There's nothing to stop you from killing this entire main base, to ravaging it by the power of the Protoss. Yep, there we go. Roach Warren under fire. We have a dead extractor taking some shots. All that larva gonna die. Wow, look at all that larva dying for no reason. They're not being used at all. Production tab shows nothing. Dark Shrine coming up for DEWDED just in case. Getting extended thermal lance, getting shields for his ground units, getting a Templar Archives, getting everything. And Lurker Den also under fire by sentries, basically. That ends up dead. Extractors that are completely mined out, completely empty, are also getting shot and killed to death. But guess what? The Zerg player is not being revealed, which means he still has a base somewhere with a single mining drone overseer coming over just to keep him company. We are sending out small squads of stalkers to see if we can find exactly where this hidden base is. And so far, remaining hidden. So far, there's nothing here as far as DEWDED knows. But we need to split these guys up. We need to send observers out. We need to send probes out. We need to send whatever we can, whatever fast unit we have to scout this out quickly. Because there's really no way SoLiNViCTuS is coming back from this. He's not even building a spawning pool with his remaining drone. He's just kind of being a jerk and hanging on into the game. Don't ever do this. If you're dead and you know that you are, just quit. Just throw out a GG, throw out a friendly GG, and just move on to the next game. Just put this one behind you. I know you lost. You feel like maybe you should have won, but in the end, you did lose, so be gracious about it, and then just play again, and maybe you'll win. So here we come. We did find the hidden base with the hidden drone. The Overseer tries to run away. We'll probably actually manage to make it, and guess, unless DEWDED makes a specific focus of killing it. And nope, does not. That last drone is now dead. It is 1 supply for SoLiNViCTuS, and that is the Overseer. The final base is gone, and that's it. SoLiNViCTuS is defeated. DEWDED is victorious, and SoLiNViCTuS has left the game. So kind of a silly little game there. Submitted to FalconPaladin@gmail.com. But regardless, this has been yet another Daily Blizzard upload. Thanks so much for watching. This has been FalconPaladin. You can catch me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook, all at /FalconPaladin. And until next time, as always, you take care of yourself.